have not recorded a video in so long that I kind of forgot what to do. So bear with me. So recently, welcome to my channel, the Bronson's Guide Library, or welcome back to my channel. Whew. This intro is gonna be fun. So anyway, I'm Rachel. This is my channel, the Bronson's Guide Library, and yeah, I guess we'll just get right into it. So my video for today is I'm going to rank the books that I read in 2025 from worst to best, and then also give you a little life update. I'll probably do the life update first and then rank, because I think that just makes sense in my brain. So if you don't want to hear what has been going on in my life for the past 6-7 months, you can just skip to this time stamp. Okay? So anyway, life update. The reason why I haven't really been recording is because 2025 just kind of sucked. Not going to lie. I did not have a good 2025. And to be honest, there were some really great things that happened to me in 2025, but then the bad things just kind of took over. It kind of made me, I don't want to say overlooked the good things. I don't think that's the right word, but like it just kind of encompassed the whole year. The bad stuff encompassed the whole year, and the good stuff just kind of was like, yeah, it was good, but like your life still kind of sucks. So anyway, I'll let you know what happened in the year 2025 and why I didn't record for like the last 5-6 months or so. So basically, a good thing that happened at the beginning of the year, of 2025, I filmed my capstone. So I like wrote and directed a film, and that was so great, but then I had friendship struggles and kind of like lost friends along the way during that like process, and that was really hard. And then I graduated college, which is really cool, and I was like extremely proud of myself. And then after that, I got a promotion at work, or like even at the end of like school, I was in the talks of getting a promotion. But then after I accepted the role, I found out that it was only part-time, and that the man, because I thought like during the promotion process, I thought that they were going to be like promoting the two of us, like me and this other guy, to be like co-managers, and I thought we were going to be equal. But then like during the process, like one of the old managers was like, yeah, like so-and-so will be the big cheese, but you guys are equal. And I was kind of confused at that at first, and me being dumb, I didn't say anything. I was just like, okay, I mean, you keep telling me I'm equal, so I'm gonna go with that. Which I shouldn't have, because when I accepted the role, they were like, yeah, so the male who has worked here for a year is going to be the general manager, and he gets full time. And then you, who have been working here for 2 years, is going to be the assistant manager, and you're gonna get part-time. And I was like, oh, I thought it was full-time. And they were like, no, you said you wanted part-time. And I said, no, I didn't. Like, I never said that, ever. So that happened. The general management position went to the male, and I got the assistant manager part-time position, which I didn't want. I needed, because like along the way, I was also promised that this job gave financial stability, and like it provided for them, and they were like, yeah, we'll provide for you too. But then I got part-time and getting like $3 less than the other guy while he was at full-time. I was like, that is not a livable wage. Like, I was promised a livable wage, and now I'm not getting one. So that sucked. I even went to the owner, and I told the owner that I felt misrepresented, and I was like, I wanted full-time, and I was promised a livable wage, and now this isn't going to be a livable wage. And I was like, I even talked to the other guy, and asked if he was okay if we did equal hours and equal pay. So I just want to see what like your thoughts are on that. And then the owner basically came back to me and was like, no. He was like, co-managers don't work. And I was like, oh. So I had to be part-time. And then I got engaged, so that was cool. That was actually nice. Unfortunately, after that, when we were planning the wedding, like a month before the wedding, I had to move out like super quickly. It was like a very sudden move, and it was done in a way that like I didn't want. Like it wasn't the way that I wanted it to happen. And so that was very stressful, and it was just very stressful having to like move out in a way that I wasn't wanting, and then having to plan my wedding all at the same time. It was just very stressful. But I did end up becoming full-time because this guy at work who was the like social media guy, he quit, and I talked to the general manager, and he was like, yeah, you can take over social media stuff. So I was like, cool, I'm full-time now. And then I got married, and then I found out that I was pregnant. So that's news as well. By the way, I'm pregnant, and that's also another reason why I didn't record for a long time, because I was literally sick for 7 weeks straight. I was sick every single day. And I was just glad that at the time I was remote. Like, I don't know how pregnant women, like when they're in their first trimester, can work full time. I don't, like, at an office or outside of their house, because I barely wanted to work. I did work, but I barely wanted to because I was sick like the whole time, and it was, yeah, so I never recorded anything. Also, I was in a temporary place. Like, I moved into a temporary place, so I didn't want to record. So, yeah, I didn't have, like, any really cool places to record. So, that was that. And then, unfortunately, we lost one of our cats. Her name was Suki. She was 6 months when we had to put her down. She got parvo, and she was really sick. And I think the thing that I'm most angry about is that we went to a place. It was an urgent care for animals, and we went, and they were like, if you want to try and give her a chance at life, it will only be a 50-50 chance, and it will cost like up to $5,000 to do. And I was like, okay, we don't have $5,000. Like, oh my gosh. Yeah, we put her down. Turns out, like, we went to like another vet here in Utah, because we were in Idaho at the time. We found all of that information. We went to a vet in Utah, and they were like, no, it would probably only cost like $500. And we were like, so I think, yeah, that was really hard, losing one of our cats. We had Kiko, Yumi, and Suki, and yeah. And now we only have Kiko and Yumi, and it was really hard. Like, I've lost an animal, but not in the way that we had to lose Suki, because she was so young. Anyway, that was just really sad. Then I'm sick for 7 weeks, like I said, because of pregnancy, and then I started feeling better, and because I was now full-time, my husband and I were able to find, since the place we were in was like temporary, we went and found a new apartment. We got a new apartment, so we moved again. And right after we moved, literally like a week later, I was told by the general manager that they were cutting down my hours. I was going to no longer be remote, and that I had to be like in office from 9 a.m. to like 2 p.m. and they like said all of this, and that it was going to go into effect January, And they were like, does that work for you? So I thought we were negotiating here. And I said, no, honestly, it doesn't work for me. I need full time. And so then after I said that, he responded and he was like, to clarify, it's actually going into effect now, like effective immediately. So next week, here's a schedule that I made for you. You're working these days, 9 to 2, and if that doesn't work for you, then I'm taking that as your resignation. So that happened, and it was just very frustrating to me. Like I don't want to like get into like any legal issues. So this is just my perspective on things. I just felt like it was them trying to force me to resign. Like they were trying to force me out of the position because they took away my access to social media, to like doing the payroll and doing like my job. Like they took away that access and then said like, if you don't comply, then this is you giving your resignation. And I just felt so conflicted. All of this was happening like after I got into an apartment, them knowing that I'm pregnant and they knew that I was also like at the time the sole provider for my family. So they knew all of these things. They knew I was pregnant. They knew that I like needed full time because yeah. And then now they're doing this, and then it was just this whole mess. I didn't feel welcome there, and I didn't want to continue on in the job. So I was like, okay, if you're like, if this is how it's gonna go, then fine, I'll resign. So I lost my job, and this happened 5 days before my birthday. And my birthday is Christmas. So this happened before the holidays, and a few other things happened like 2 days before Christmas. And it's just been crazy, and it's left me in a bad, negative, like left me in a bad way. So yeah, there's that. That is why I haven't been recording any videos. It's why I haven't really read like any books. Like I think the last 5-6 months of the year, the last half of the year, I think I only read 2 books. And they're actually at the very bottom of my list. Like they're the worst books that I read in the year of 2025. So yeah, there's that for you. Yeah, I only read like 2 books, and I didn't really have any gumption to record videos or honestly do anything because I was also having prenatal depression, and like I still struggle with that anyway because I'm still pregnant. So but first trimester was extremely rough. Let's just say that. But yeah, now that we're in 2026, I have no job. I'm going to try to either find a part-time job and try to like build my photography business, or just try to build my photography business without finding a job, or just find a job. We'll see, but it's kind of hard for pregnant women to like get jobs, especially in this market. Like the job market really, really sucks. And so I don't know what's gonna happen there. But thankfully my husband now has a job since we moved from Utah, or he moved from Idaho to Utah to be with me, obviously, because we're now married. He needed to find a job, and because the market sucks, it was really hard to find a job, but finally got a job. Let's get on to the things that you want to hear, and that is the worst books to the best books, ranking the books that I read in 2025 from worst to best. Let's get to that. I'm seriously sorry about the lighting, guys. My new apartment does not get good light. The sun is probably going in and like behind and out of clouds, so it's just It's being a pill, okay? The lighting. And we're not in like a spot where, because our window is facing north, so the sun, like it rises and sets. It rises in the east and then sets in the west, because that's north, that's south, so that's west and that's east, right? So it rises in the east and then sets in the west, and so like this the window that's facing north doesn't help with the light, okay? Anyway, from worst, the books I read in 2025 from worst to best. I only read 10, so that's why I feel like I can rank all of the books. And I'm not doing the tier list thing. I don't know how to do that yet. I would love to figure that out eventually. But the books that I read. So number 10 on the list. So the worst book that I read in 2025 is unfortunately Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. I gave it, now that I'm using Fable, now that I'm using that to track my books, I started rating books, like giving them star ratings. I usually don't, and I like, honestly, the star ratings, like, they don't hold a whole ton of weight when it comes to my enjoyment of the book, or just because I put like a 4.5 star lower on the list than a book with a 4.25 star. So the ratings, the stars are just like, take it with a grain of salt. So anyway, Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. I did enjoy it, but I think just when I read the book, the headspace that I was in wasn't the greatest. It's because I think I was reading Bury Our Bones during the planning of my wedding and also having to move suddenly. So yeah, I just wasn't really reading a lot, and I wasn't really in the right headspace. And then I was reading it on my honeymoon, and I just wasn't feeling it as well. So I don't know. I just think it was my headspace at the time. Like, I liked Alice the least, and then Maria the most. Anyway, but I just think, like, there were some really great things about the book, and then some really, like, boring parts. There were just really boring parts, and there were parts where I was like, oh, I want to continue reading, and then parts where I'm like, I don't want to read, and there were more parts where I'm like, I don't want to read, then there were like, yes, I want to read. So that's unfortunately at number 10, and it's not like the worst book, it's just the worst book that I read in 2025. Still good. The writing was beautiful because it's V.E. Schwab, but I guess it just wasn't for me. And then book 9 is The Alloy of Law by Brandon Sanderson, and I gave that one also a 3.5 stars. And it's funny that the worst books take the worst books with a grain of salt as well. The worst books that I read in 2025 were by my two favorite authors. V. Schwab is one of my favorite authors, and Brandon Sanderson is one of my favorite authors. And they're both at the bottom. They're both at the worst books that I've read. I feel so bad saying that, but The Alloy of Law, listen, there were some really fun moments. I loved Wayne, obviously, for some obvious reasons. He was fun, he's a little jokester, and it's just, of course, you're gonna have fun with a character like that. But then there were times where I was like, I don't want to read. It's kind of like how Bury Our Bones was. I was like, I'm not really feeling like reading. Like, there were moments where the story was kind of lagging and I wasn't paying attention, and I was just like, I need something to grip me here, and nothing is gripping me. And yeah, it was there's that for you. Number 8, the 8th spot. That book is the Dungeon Anarchist's Cookbook. So Dungeon Crawler Carl book 3 is in that spot. And that's the book that I gave 4.5 stars. And then the next one is going to be a 4.25 stars. So I think the reason why I put this one here instead of the other book is because I just don't really, that book was just kind of there. So like, Dungeon Crawler Carl, those books just kind of bleed together, which is kind of funny because like, every single book, like they're going to like a different floor in like the game because it's a lit RPG, and so they have like a new, it's kind of like a new world almost every single book that they have to figure out and learn and stuff like that. And so why it bleeds together, I don't know, but it does. Like these books just kind of bleed together, and this one, I think I was just having a hard time with all of the characters that were in this book because like we are introduced to so many characters that when a name is said, I'm like, I don't know who that is. I don't remember because there's so many characters. We need a glossary, Matt. Oh, it's by Matt Dinniman, by the way. I don't think I mentioned that. Anyway, so yes, I put this one here because like, I think the world was kind of cool. It was kind of confusing, or like the floor, the level, I should say. It was kind of confusing. It had like trains and stuff, which is really cool, but then the way it was laid out was confusing. But then Matt Dinniman has said like, it doesn't really matter. Like, you don't have to try so hard to figure it out. So I didn't try very hard, but it was cool. I liked the idea of the Anarchist's Cookbook. I thought that was a nice addition. But yeah, it was just all of the characters and then like them being like, this person, and I'm not remembering. Like, it was just really hard. So that's why I put it there. And then number 7 is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I gave that one a 4.25 stars. But I think I liked this one maybe more than Anarchists because I think I just remember it a lot more than I do Dungeon Crawler Carl book 3. The reason why this one is so low, I know that like this one is a very well-loved book and people just really, really enjoy it and stuff. Or I guess enjoy is a term you could use. But people love this book. And this one, it was really good, and it was very inspirational, especially by the end. However, I struggled with Isabel. I just struggled with Isabel's character. She's very independent, and she's very stubborn. And I guess I'm also kind of the same way. I'm very independent and can be pretty stubborn. And so when I read her character, I was like, oh, I guess we like kind of like our personalities kind of clash because we're kind of maybe similar, but then at the same time, like I don't think we're similar. And like the way she would get so mad, like Isabel would get so mad at her sister Vianne, it just made me so annoyed. I'm like, please just listen to your sister. Like, can you like honestly please listen to her, because your sister is making sense. But like I understand, and I understand that like the past, like with them, their past is a little like tricky, but like it still kind of bugged me. And then also the pacing of the book was really like it was really hard for me. Like I didn't enjoy the pacing because like there would be some long chapter after long chapter, and I love short chapters. Short chapters are the best. So having long chapter after long chapter after long chapter after long chapter, I was like, oh my gosh, can we please get a short chapter? And all of the long chapters were of Isabel. So we'd get long chapter of Isabel, long chapter of Isabel, long chapter of Isabel. And then after we got so many long chapters of Isabel, we'd get a short chapter of Vianne. And then another short chapter of Vianne, and then a long chapter of Isabel, and then a long chapter of Isabel. And I was like, oh my gosh. So the pacing just wasn't for me. And that was like the beginning of the book. I think the last half of the book was so amazing, and I actually bawled by the end of the book. So yeah, I thought that the ending really made up for the beginning, and I thought it was a very powerful story and very inspirational, and I did love the book by the end. So I think that's why I'm gonna, like, I put it above DCC book 3. Okay, and then book 6, I'm gonna say, is Carl's Doomsday Scenario, the second book in Dungeon Crawler. I gave that one like a 5-star. I think I have to rethink these star ratings because honestly, this one was also just kind of there, but I had so much fun. Like, it kind of like blended in with book 1 for me. So like, I feel like book 1 and book 2 are kind of like the same, and I just loved book 1 so much as well that like book 2 was also really fun. I think it's just these books, like, they have like, they're so much fun that I just have to give them a 5-star. But I think the reason why this one is at this point, because in like kind of the middle of the list, is because I liked the other books above this way better. Not like way better, but like better. I did like them better now that I'm like thinking about it. Like, I had more enjoyment with the other ones. So anyway, but yeah, I don't have much to say about book 2, honestly. That one's also just kind of there. But I do remember loving it, and Princess Donut is amazing. Book 5 is Monstrous Knights by Genoveva Dimova. Genoveva Dimova. I think that's how you pronounce her name. It's the second book to the book called Foul Days, and the reason why this one is here is because, like, I loved the story. It's just as good as the first book, but I think I liked the first book slightly better. And so it's here because I love the story. I love the characters. I loved the ending to this book. Also, I don't have very many words for some of these books because I read them like at the very beginning of 2025. So it's been almost a year since I like read this book. Like, I'm pretty sure I read this one in January of last year, and it's January of 2026. So I don't really have a lot of words for some of these, but I know that I loved this one better than the second book of Dungeon Crawler Carl. So book 4 would be If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. Loved this book. I think I gave it a 4.75 star. I think the reason why I only gave it 4.75 instead of like a 5 is because, oh my gosh, are these characters stupid. They are so stupid, but that's what made me love this book. And they're kind of obnoxious, but they were just funny. And I'm like, it really made the story for me. Like, their stupidity just made me enjoy this book. I don't know how else to explain it, but I also had so much fun with the Shakespeare in this book, how she intertwined it with the story. There are some things that people would probably be annoyed by, like them talking in Shakespeare all the time. They would, like, quotes that they would say would always be Shakespeare, and if you're not really a Shakespeare person, then it's gonna get kind of annoying. But I grew up with like parents who they're in the acting world. They're in theater. There we go. And so that's probably why like I loved it, because I grew up around this kind of stuff, and it was just so much fun, and I loved getting to like unpack the story and stuff. It's really fun. Book 3 was Foul Days by Genoveva Dimova. I think that we'll just say that. I think that's how you pronounce it, okay? So yeah, Foul Days would be number 3. I loved this book. I thought it was so good. I thought the story was amazing. I loved the characters. I just loved how it, like, I loved the atmosphere. That's what I'm trying to say. I loved the, like, atmosphere of the book and just, like, the world building of it. I thought it was really cool, and yeah, And sorry I'm not saying what these books are about. Sorry, I'm like really bad at like giving a summary and then sharing with you like why I didn't like the book. Oh my gosh. See, I will be better eventually. I promise. I will be better. But Foul Days, yes. I loved the atmosphere of the book. I loved the characters. It's a good book to read during winter time, I feel like. Okay, and then second book was Dungeon Crawler Carl, book 1. That is by Matt Dinaman. That is number 2 because holy crap, did I love this book. It was so much fun. Carl and Donut, like that just pairing is so funny and so like it's just so enjoyable. Like I love it so much, okay? And I think the idea of Dungeon Crawler Carl is really cool. It's a it's lit RPG, and these two are like, so Carl, he is now in like this dungeon after like the world was like obliterated or whatever by these people, and now he has to like survive on like these levels of like this like live action game pretty much, so that like it's kind of like a video game but live and like real, right? And then his partner in crime is his ex-girlfriend's cat Donut, or Princess Donut, and she is like, she now has a voice and she can talk like a human, like English and all of that, and she's really funny. She's hilarious. And yeah, so honestly, it was just so much fun. I also read it with my husband. I've been reading these books with my husband, and he absolutely loved these books too. So it's just been fun. I think I have like nostalgia with this one too, because we were reading and listening to it on the way to California, on the way to like go get engaged. And so it was really fun, and it's very nostalgic, and it's like, it's a grand old time. But then there was a book that exceeded this one, and that would be number 1 spot, Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. Holy shit. That was a good book. Oh my gosh. I'm not the best with science fiction, and because I just don't understand it very well. Like, my brain kind of wanders off sometimes because I'm just not that smart. So like this book, like even though there was a lot of science in it, I think the book helped me understand the science. Like the writing was written in a way that a simple, non-smart person could understand. At least for me. There were things that I was like, huh? But then there were like the most important things that I needed to know. It was the most important things about the science that I needed to know that the book helped me understand to a point that it was like, yeah. Anyway, sorry, my nose was really itchy. So yeah, Project Hail Mary was so good. Oh, Rocky. Rocky was a great character, and just the way that, and like the main character as well was also really awesome. And it was fun. The narration, I did immersion reading for this, and I loved listening to the narration along with reading along, and it was just like, oh my gosh, it was so much fun, and it was so good, like the story, and it had real stakes, and when those stakes were happening, I was like, oh my gosh, I was gripped, okay? It was good. It was so good. It was so much fun. It was the standout book for me. Honestly, I absolutely loved it. And again, I'm not a science fiction person as much. I do have science fiction books, and I have read them, but again, science fiction is just kind of hard for me. I knew about the astrophage. I understood why why it was a problem, and I knew why our main character had to go out into space to help fix all of this, and I just knew the important things about the book, and it just made it so, and it like worked together in a way that like it just, I don't know how to explain it because I'm bad at this. I'm bad at giving reviews. I'm bad at like explaining. I'm sorry, but I just know that this book was so good. Okay? I loved it. So yes. Anyway, that's my ranking of all 10 books that I read from worst to best in the year of 2025. Let me know what your thoughts are. Like, are there books that you've read on this list that you would put higher than others? Did you like some of, like, did you love them? Did you hate them? Let me know. Yeah, I think that's all. I am out of my reading slump because I literally didn't read for the last, like, 4-5 months of 2025. So I think I'm out of my reading slump now. I think. But that book that I'm reading is Hollow Fires by Samira Ahmed, I think. Sorry, the book. Oh, yeah. The book is all the way over there. But Samira Ahmed, Hollow Fires. That's the book that I'm reading now, and it's really good so far. It's a very political book. If you are into that kind of stuff, you should read that book. Anyway, that's all. Thanks for tuning in. Sorry, I haven't done this in so long, I don't remember how to record. I don't remember how to make videos anymore. Anyway, I'll see you when I see you. Okay, bye.